And it's time for another tutorial. Today we're going to do offset voxels, as well as using inlays and offset voxel floors, which can be very useful. Offset voxels are not very complicated, especially with roaming vectors. Hello, Draco. To get started here, let's just you want to go to your shapes here, and you want to pick the slope corner inside shape. Basically what we're going to do with this is we're going to set up a voxel reactor with these and be using the voxel reactor and voxel putty to make offset voxels. So what we're going to do, as you can see, you want the inside slope line. Those are going to be in the center. So you want to face all of those in the center, leaving one voxel spacing between each one. And once you get that set up, grab your putty voxel. If you do not know how to make a putty voxel, very simple to do. Get you a section of ground, select it, cut it out, select it again, heal it, grab you a stucco and paint it. What that does is cause the healed earth to become putty, which is very useful for many things. Basically what we're going to do with that putty voxel is we're going to place it in the middle of these four here, one voxel off the floor, and as you can see, that stretches that putty voxel down to where it is the size of two voxels, but yet it is still one voxel. Now the next step that we're going to do is you want to take your select tool, grab this whole bottom section, go ahead and copy and paste that, and with your vertical line, your green line there, you're going to go ahead and hit V to mirror that. You want to make sure that you're one voxel above the top voxel there. Go ahead and paste that in. And now that stretches it to 3 voxels. Go ahead and select that center one because that is the only actual voxel there is, and paste that down. Now go ahead and move up one more voxel, paste that in again, and what that's going to do, go ahead and paint this, is that's actually going to turn the very bottom voxel into an offset voxel. So go ahead and grab that, and with this being an offset voxel, the actual selection is going to be on the top there. Why that is doing that, I do not know. Let me see here what's going on there. There we go. I didn't copy it. So paste that out. And the easiest way to tell that this is offset and this worked is grab your blue or red, rotate, and go ahead and twist it. You can kind of see that it actually moves around all 4 corners of what a regular voxel would be. Now, another thing we can do with this is go ahead and grab this 3-piece here. We can also make offset panels with this. Go ahead and copy that, and I'm going to paste out a normal voxel. Just go ahead and grab your cube shape again. Go ahead and shift click so you can move that up off the floor a little bit. Go ahead and paste your 3 voxel selection. Line that up, and we're going to rotate that on its side. And move it over to where it's actually on the outside of the voxel. Go ahead and click that. Move it over on top of the voxel one more space. Go ahead and click that. As you can see, that panel is a different color than the rest of the voxel there. Copy, paste that out. Now you have an offset voxel panel. Different things that you can do with that. Kind of show you here. You can actually make these different size panel strings. These are not inlays. So if I were to copy this and bring this out, this is an entire row of offset voxels, which is very useful for doing things on a floor. If you want to come up with different designs and you want to do some thin stuff instead of just regular voxel size, you can use that for that. The way we make those, go ahead and copy this again. We're going to paste a line of 7 of those. 5, 6, and 7. Grab your select tool, and you want to select everyone but the top and the bottom. A good rule for this, for pretty much anything, a good idea is to template a putty voxel for things like this, where it makes it easier, where you don't have to worry about trying to get the right selection again. You don't have to pull down the selection box and then try to find the exact spot that you were at again. So what you want to do is, with this selection box, you're going to go ahead and select your smooth tool. Go ahead and click that box. Well, that's weird. Not sure why that did that. That normally does not do that. That's what that's supposed to do. Okay, as you can see, that disappeared. Didn't really disappear. That's actually still there. So go ahead and go to template. Grab a putty voxel. And what you're going to do with this putty voxel is actually place this putty voxel in your selection. This is why I say it's a good idea to have this templated, so you can leave your actual selection box open and you don't lose where your selection is at. Go ahead and paste that in. This thing is not wanting to work with me right now. Go ahead and paste that up. And that makes the first one here. This first section here. You can go ahead and just smooth that selection back out if you would like, and the more you smooth and paste that in, the smaller they'll get. So it'll actually work from the left to the right here. Good idea is to do this in increments so that you can make nice little voxel board area of the different sizes. But you're basically going to go back in and do the same thing again. Except this time you're going to go ahead and select the entire thing, because the 6th and the 7th one are still there even though you cannot see them. So go ahead and smooth that again. Take your putty voxel. This is really not wanting to line up. There we go. Go ahead and paste that in. As you can see, it does the next step down. Basically shrinks it down from the top and bottom as well as the left and right to where you can get down to the thinnest selection there, and it can actually go even thinner than that. That's just where I stopped at. Offset voxels they're kind of tricky to work with in a lot of cases, but they are very useful for many different things. For instance, this lattice here, this is offset diagonal voxel strings, offset on both sides. So to get the full triangle there, to have to select one voxel out on either side of that. And this is a case where offset voxels are very useful. See, I got offset voxels as my beams there. Basically, if I were to delete that offset voxel and try to place in a normal voxel, you can see it pulls it and distorts it all towards it. So those offset voxels can be used for a lot of things with microvoxels, voxel strings, as well as many other things. Like this cylinder here. This entire floor here is offset voxel, where the offset is actually underneath. And what that does, by doing that, when you place a shape on top of it, here, let me get somewhere here where I can, let me just grab this section. So place that on top of it. Yep. See, and that's actually down in it, and that's why it does that. If you place it right on top of the floor there, it doesn't get any type of artifacts or distortion between the curve and the floor. So very useful for many things. And these are all the inlays that I will show you how to do now. They're a little tricky with the floors because of, as you've seen when I put that square in and that curve section the first time, it pushed the floor down. So you grab your offset voxel, and with it be the offset being on the bottom there, we're going to want to flip that so that the actual voxel is underneath, so that the offset part is on top. So when I go to select this, it's going to select the underneath.